Are you religious? Are you spiritual? Maybe you think you're both. Is there a difference?
Now, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about spirituality.
The nature, or what you call God, is not male or female. The creator is beyond male and female.
The coffin text was a list of writings that was on all of the coffins. They just put them together. This writing, you understand, the coffin text comes from the Mirkut text. And so writings from the Mirkut text now got updated and became the coffin text. Then in the third golden age, you had the Pert Imharu. They took the coffin text and the Pert Imharu and updated and kept going, and that became the book of Coming Forth by Day. Okay, so it was always a constant going back to the ancients, but still keeping with the modern times and saying, so they were still expanding. It's just like the universe is still expanding. The universe, it's not like God did the world and he's taking a rest. He's like, look, I'm finished.
Right.
I'm out of here.
It's ever expanding.
Ever expanding. So that's the way ancient Kemet was. From the time they were always expanding, always adding on. They didn't have one book that they were fixed in. The spiritual knowledge was still expanding. Science was still coming into being.
Okay. So, but the scribe would get the information from the families?
Right.
Okay.
And usually the person was an important person, so the scribe might have had a personal contact with them. Remember, when the Nusuk, the day he got his inauguration, a scribe was assigned for his mortuary temple, another scribe was assigned for his, biography, and others, So all these people are assigned, so that's their job. Their job was like, oh, okay, you did that, he's recording that, So when the time comes, he got all that information. So pay attention to that's gray granite, look at the pink granite. The materials they chose was almost as important as the art itself. Remember I talked about master the mineral domain first?
Facts.
So they made sure they were tapped into the right minerals as they did this, Granite has quartz crystal inside. So it's charged, it's holding memory. Okay? And so he wanted the memory of him to also be inside of the statue. When a statue was finished, a ceremony was done. And then they would do something like the opening of the mouth, open the nose, open the eyes. So he would have something called like an adonis, right? And he'd put it up, and he says, may you learn to speak in the afterlife, so that we may know, and you can still guide us. May you breathe in the afterlife. May you see in the afterlife, so that you can warn us against dangers and things of that nature. So this ceremony would be done for the statue. So that's why when Europeans came, they tried to chisel the nose off, chisel stuff, because they wanted to destroy that energy. But obviously it didn't work, because we can still feel it.
You say quartz crystals inside pink granite?
Yeah. Granite, part of granite is quartz crystal. Oh, wow. If you see light hits it, you can see the sparkle. You see the sparkle of quartz crystal.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what that was. Yeah.
The serpent became a very important creature in ancient Kemet. It represents your kundalini, so it represents energy rising up, but it also can represent your opposition, like Apep. Apep, the enemy of Ra, was always depicted as a cobra or a snake, a giant snake. So snakes were always important represented. There's some Polish folklore, and in Poland they say, we were savages until the snakes brought us out of our caves. And once we got in control, we killed the snakes. So the snakes were the Africans who had the snake on their forehead. Remember the king has this, look. So the Polish people were talking about these rulers who came here from Africa, brought them out of the caves and taught them magic. And then when they got in control, they killed the snake, stabbed them in the back. So the Westerners are telling you who they are.
Right.
Once you teach us and we don't need you no more, you're gone. Listen to folklore. Go to everybody's folklore around the world. Look at the Irish folklore with the leprechaun and everything. The leprechaun is the little green guy. Ain't nobody green, that's the little black guy. That's the Twa. There's no gold in Ireland, so where is he getting the gold? He brought the gold from the mainland. So when the Wazulu came there, they're trying to get the gold, and leprechaun he's not really vanishing, he's just hiding, trying to get away from these crazy people.
Can I ask you a question? When you say the Wanzungu, I know what the Wanzungu is, but I say that a lot. A lot of people don't understand when I say Wanzungu. And instead of me calling them European.
It's not a derogatory word, okay? Wazungu, let me just explain. It's a Kiswahili word. It comes from Eastern Africa. Mina Semba, I speak Kiswahili. And among the Swahili people in East Africa, the first Europeans they encountered were the Portuguese. The Portuguese were stranded, ran out of food, everything. They came ashore, the Swahili people gave them food, rations, and the people went back to the boat and said, these people are sitting ducks. They got gold sitting all around. They don't even know what to do with it. They lined the ships up and bombed the whole village and killed everybody. Came back and took everything. And so the people were saying, well, what kind of people would do that? We give them love and hospitality and they repay us with. So then they encountered, that was the Portuguese. Then they encountered the Spaniards. Then they encountered the Romans. Then they realized that, wait a minute, all these people are the same. They're human-like, but they got like a soul of a 2-year-old. You know how like a 2-year-old, mine, I want, right? Just imagine if your 2-year-old had the power to zap you, Dad. He's like, Dad, I want some candy before dinner. You're like, no, you can't. Zap, I'm having candy, okay? So Wazungu is a human being with an immature soul, like a 2-year-old, and their desire is just to take.
Wanzungu.
And one of them is an Mzungu.
Mzungu.
Mzungu is a singular.
Oh, okay. So if it was a group of them, I said, look at them Wanzungus, but if I looked at one, I would say Mzungu. Mzungu.
So Mzungu is clear. It's not like calling somebody the N-word or like that. No, it's a person, and we're talking about their nature. Their nature is to take, to steal, to destroy. And they got an immature soul. They got a soul, but it's a question.
Life, sovereignty, abundance, health, all life, all prosperity, all prosperity, health, all health, joy of the heart, all joy of the heart, and then light, raw, forever.
So people, they tell you can't translate them and do that, just say, don't even pay no attention to them. These are the students, they're doing it, so it's not just Mfundishi.
Thank you for that, brother. We needed them words.
Okay. So this is what they so-called call Ramses II. But see, it don't say nothing here about no Ramses. See, that's why you got to be able to read your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say Ramses II. Show me where it say Ramses II at. You know, he's telling you his name's right here. His name, and he is the master of the 2 lands. Ursa Ma'at Ra Satepin Ra. So he's telling you right there his name. And then he's Mary Amun, beloved of Amun. And he's telling you his names. But here he's wearing the war crown.
What does that mean?
He's
at war?
Huh?
What does that mean? They're at war? Or what does that mean when
No, you know what? They weren't always at war when they wore the crown. But, you know, I think maybe if they were even having a strategy meeting, you put the helmet on.
Oh, got you.
You know, just talking about defense. But it didn't mean that you were actually going out to battle.
Yeah.
But this was to commemorate the hairstyle of the warriors that kicked the Hyksos out. So after that 3rd golden age, this crown came into existence. It was imitating the Africans from the South, their hairstyle. You'll see that at the introduction of my book, Spiritual Warriors. I show you a picture of the guy with the hairstyle. This is, you never see the king or the queen or the ruler kissing. Here, it's like the first time you see something like that. This is Nefertiti kissing her daughter. But she looked real African. This doesn't look like the forgery they going around in Europe.
Right.
This is an African Nefertiti. Big, thick lips and everything. Okay, and she's kissing her big lip daughter with the big head. Okay. Now, Europeans will try to say that Akhenaten was the last ruler of aliens. Aliens came here, and this was the last family of aliens. Anything just so they can't be African. So you can see this is Nefertiti again here, and here she's doing some type of meditation.
So is this in the shot for the arm? That's supposed to be. That's right there.
So again, this is the Amana period. This is Akhenaten ruled for about 24 years. So this is a period. He varied from his father. During his time period, the temple of Amun was extremely powerful and strong. It rivaled actually the rulership of the ruler himself. So Akhenaten was clashing with the rulership of the temple of Amun. So he just decided to move this capital. So he just went out into the desert, found a spot where he looked like he saw the Akhet rising, and said, we're gonna make our city right there. And created his whole new city. Now this guy must have been really talking about charisma. You just got thousands of people following you out into the middle of the desert, and you just create a new city. When you're coming from the most modern city in the world. So in order to, so he talking about gifted gab, he must have had it really going on.
Was he the Moses?
All of Moses' writing comes from Akhenaten. There's a book called Moses and Monotheism by Sigmund Freud. Read it. Sigmund Freud, Moses and Monotheism.
Was Akhenaten, to cut your wisdom, was Akhenaten the one that banished all worship of other deities and you just worship Ra? Okay.
Right. There'll be no God but my God.
Right, that was Akhenaten.
The Bible, that's why you see that among the Jews, the Hebrews. All that comes from Akhenaten.
Okay.
Okay, which, you see, the concept is that these are not gods. They are principles and laws.
Facts.
So to a lot of the people, they wasn't feeling that. So some people, followed him and went out there, but as soon as he died, straight back to the temple.
When Akhenaten went out to build his own city, that was the city called the Valley of the Kings?
No. The Valley of the Kings was set up by Menchu Hotel in the second golden age. That was only on the west bank where you buried the dead. Akhenaten built his city on the right side of the bank with the living. So he just created a new capital, that's all, just a whole new city. But I'm just trying to show you the type of Jews he must have had, You just got hundreds of thousands of people just follow you out to the middle of the desert, and then y'all just create a whole new city, a whole new town, everything.